What I was like as a 16-year-old was probably the most introverted, bubbly person you would have met. I had experienced quite a trauma when I was 12, and having to move 3 high schools within 7 months after that trauma was pretty difficult to deal with. So even though it was a big trauma, starting high school for anyone is tricky enough in itself, especially these days. But back then, after the trauma, having to go to 3 separate high schools within 7 months for year 7, it was difficult in the sense of, overcoming trauma, making new friends, trying to fit in, trying to find where I fit into the world of high school. So I sort of became a little bit of an observer. Even though I did have some lovely friends, I was a very quiet person. Sort of tended more to watch other students and see how they reacted to situations or, conversations. So, I loved school. I loved especially English because I could lose myself in the written words. So, yeah, I was just a country girl that was very quiet and just sort of surviving after trauma, really. Now, at this day, 2021, if I can say the date, I am an author, publisher, and a shareholder with MMH Press. And I began writing after my son was experiencing anxiety and depression. And it was such a joy to be able to write down everything I was going through with my boy. It was very cathartic, just sort of mapping out, his story, his journey of anxiety and depression, and it evolved into a book, 13 and Underwater. And of course, that's my non-fiction title. I also write fiction, and throughout my fiction, I weave words of hope, messages of hope and healing, and just resilience. I write a lot about resilience in my books, which is just fabulous. I love that. And of course, I'm also a mental health advocate. So I sort of, I've worked with Headspace here in Australia, raising funds for Headspace. And I had the chance to go to Ireland and sell copies of 13 and Underwater over there, and donated copies to Inspire. So with writing, sort of the voices of the characters, it's sort of just messages for those dealing with issues of domestic violence or bullying, childhood abuse, all that sort of jazz. So it's really such a privilege. And, to write story, it's such a powerful thing to be able to share messages through stories. So I'm just so lucky at this stage of my life where I can actually write, and I cannot believe that this is my life, from that young girl who was struggling after trauma and trying to find her place in the world, to be able to be in the position that I am now, sharing a story that does help, the younger generation that are closer to my son's age, as well as parents my age, sort of just being able to support through story. It's just a beautiful thing. I feel really, really blessed. Challenges I faced throughout from my day now, from that young girl to get to where I am. I suppose I became when I was more of an observer, I also sort of had a bit of a protective shield around myself, and just sort of, getting through life, just taking one step in front of the other. I didn't so much let the drama of the world around me affect me so much. I sometimes think trauma can be a little bit like a superpower. It sort of gives you the ability to, cut the drama out and be able to just focus on what's really important, what's right in front of you. Being that 16-year-old as well, I was so blessed where I could stand back and watch the world unfold around me and not let it bombard me, not let it sort of pressure, like any of the pressures get to me. And even now doing this video, I have a huge fear of public speaking. And, even to get, these messages across, any message that I can in order to help somebody else out there, it's hard for me even now to, present myself and speak and think, I hope I can help somebody, because my anxiety, I don't have anxiety, but I do have a fear of speaking and, getting messages across, which is why I love writing, because you can do that and then an editor will help you get it out correctly so it can help somebody. But just throughout the journey of life, you know, from experiencing trauma as a young person, overcoming that trauma, and then just embracing everything. I've got this ability to turn every negative into a positive, and I'm just so blessed that I can, you know, share whatever wisdom I have with my friends and family. Like, every young person is so unique within themselves, no matter what they're going through. And, you know, the fact that I can stand here today, write, share messages, you know, do public speaking at Headspace, you know, talk at schools, or just share with smaller groups in libraries. Like, it's a really beautiful thing. And once again, I do feel so lucky. What have I learnt throughout my journey of life? Just to embrace everything, the good and the bad, because everything happens for a reason. And, you know, if we can learn from every step, whether we've made mistakes or not, we never stop learning. We're never going to stop learning till the day we die. Okay, what advice would I give my 16-year-old self? I would definitely say, you've got this, you've always had it, and you're actually going to be okay. And then just let that 16-year-old me know that everything is going to work out okay, because it's all about, you know, perception as well. It's all about looking at our world and just dealing with what is right in front of us, not anticipating the what ifs or the what buts, just diving right in and having a real good crack at it. The fact that I'm now author, shareholder, publisher, where I can help other people publish their stories and assist them in wanting to express their stories. Like, you know, some of those had never thought that they could write a book as well and share their messages. So, you know, I really am living the young Australian country girl's dream, who has gotten up out of the hole and stepped forward. And success can be anything that makes you happy. You know, you don't compare your success or your happiness to the person next door. You just embrace what you have. And if you want more, go for it, because, you know, you can do anything in this life. What being the difference means to me is being everything that I can be in the moment. You know, if I see someone that needs a pickup, I will be there to pick them up. If I see someone that I can help in any way to learn or to grow, whether it's through mental illness, to lean towards mental health, just absolutely anything. To be the difference is being the best you can be, offering kindness, support, and just being happy. I think when you're happy, your happiness just shines around to other people around you. So, yeah, I'm not really sure how to answer that in the most beautiful, butterfly, magical way, but just be the difference. Just be who you are, be your authentic self, and just be happy, because we're here. We're here to do, you know, the best we can do with what we have.